Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another Crypto EMC episode. Today, we're talking about most altcoins dying and why I believe that this one won't. What makes a difference? So we need to think about the market big picture when we say words like that. Remember, as always, I say there's no financial advice. This is just my opinion, and I am just showing you guys how I go about trying to make a living trading and investing in the crypto space. Big picture is the trend has always been that Bitcoin dictates how the bigger play or the bigger market sentiment moves. And where we're at right now, we're in a situation where, although we do have hidden bullish divergence, Bitcoin is definitely showing some weakness. And unless we start seeing some real upside, big picture for Bitcoin, reclaiming critical levels, the betting man in me says that this is the beginnings of probably a correction or a long sideways grind. This then doesn't necessarily mean that the alts are going to be dead and boring, because some do have utility. And as we've seen in a lot of cases, even though Bitcoin might not be performing really well, there's coins like Hype up 28% today, 60% for the week. There's coins like SKR, which is Solana's new smartphone, up 900% for the week. And so the story goes. Rat's another one. It's up 30% for the week, 20% on the last 24 hours. So there's movers. There's always going to be these movers, irrespective of where we see our market sentiment. Okay. So hello, Stanku. Hello to the rest of the guys joining in live. If you want a little bit more, you know what to do. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, and let's get into the coin that I want to look at. So the coin I want to look at is Fight. I'm serious about Fight. Now, Fight is the UFC's official rewards program token. So the Fight Foundation, if you go through this, the whole play is that whatever merch you're going to be buying on the UFC, those merch you're going to be rewarded on chain through their tokenized system. And it's not a new concept. It's something that's been tried and tested and age old. And the best example would be the Socios platform from Chiliz. So Chiliz is the underlying blockchain that runs all the various football tokens, all the various gaming tokens, fighting, motorsport, which was a disaster. Nothing came from the F1 tokens. And then rugby, we've got the Sharks, but that's it. So the problem that we have with any of these, with these rewards programs is whether the end user buys in on them. Now, the trend, if we have a look at the trend, if we go to where Chiliz is right now, I'm going to quickly load Chiliz for you. So the ticker is CHZ. And we can load probably the one that has the most data would be the Binance pairing, because when Chiliz launched, ByBit or any of the other exchanges didn't even exist yet. If we then look at this long-term wise, there's a few interesting things that we can see with this. Obviously, this was launched in the moment where you can even put your grandma's farts on chain, and at that stage it will be pumping. We had crazy alt season. I bought my first Chiliz somewhere in there, and I staked them. And lucky enough, when we were here, the staking releases came, and we were smiling all the way to the bank. Then somewhere in this range, the fan tokens officially launched, and we were also happy. You know, we had our PSG, we had our Juventus tokens, we had Aston Martin tokens, we had Alfa Romeo tokens, all these tokens. And because it was still fresh and exciting, you had a high coin valuation. But then as the hype dies down, and that's the problem with anything of this, as the hype dies down, price goes and tries and finds a fair valuation. Now, trends that we can pick up out of Chiliz as an example is if we look at where the last World Cup was. So the last World Cup started November 2022, Football World Cup. And if we look at what Chiliz did in anticipation to that Football World Cup, let's quickly go to that time zone. I'm just going to load the charts there. So leading up to the World Cup, a few months in when the marketing started, Chili's price went up again. So you're sitting in a situation where leading to a World Cup, you had about 200-300% gain in the token price. And in all fairness, it was buy the rumor, sell the event scenario, and price continued back down. So the play for Chili's this year is, because we've got another World Cup coming this year in the middle of the year, is that Chili's is slowly but surely grinding itself up again to do exactly that. Now, this time around, they're going to be moving. The World Cup is in the US. So they're going to be moving to the US markets and try and capture that liquidity as well. So the anticipation is that Chili's will definitely go and make a higher high at some stage and then die down again, because this is all hype-driven and rewards-driven. As long as the marketing remains strong and this remains in everybody's face and really gets driven by that marketing machine, price will remain high and we can ride the wave. But once it starts quieting down, you need to get out, because this is inevitably what will happen. Good examples of just that is, look at PSG's token. This was back in the day when the launch was trading at $39, $40. I think the high with this was somewhere in $50. And that was yet again the hype of where this loyalty rewards program was able to take it. And now the fair valuation is setting in. I mean, what do you really do with a token if you've already bought the shirt, if you've already, if you regularly buy your tickets? What really happens to the token? So unless the marketing teams, these kind of projects, figure out a way to keep people buying more, it's always going to do this. It's going to be the similar, it's a similar play to memes. Now, let's get to the coin that I'm interested in. So now we know that Chili's does have upside. There's going to be a play for Chili's later down during the year. And we know that now there's a new kid on the block. Now, what makes the UFC a little bit different? Interesting, though, is the UFC in 2001 was nearly bankrupt. Now it's worth between 12 and 13 billion a year. Annual revenue is ridiculous. So it is growing. From a fighting perspective, if you think about the way boxing was, boxing is very unstable. The average payout per fight is maybe around $40,000. And, obviously, if you're not a main draw card, where the UFC was managed to turn the whole fighting scene around. It's highly Gen Z adopted, and they do have regular fights. I mean, I regularly see that some world championship is going, is busy, on the various divisions. So they're busy, they're growing. There's a lot of marketing, a lot of hype behind that. So do I think long-term fight is a really good coin to hold in? Yes. Because if the UFC, if the UFC trend is anything to follow by, the revenue is going to keep on growing, their audiences are going to keep on growing, and they're just going to keep on marketing and building that machine until something breaks. This, like I said, this means that long-term, this is really good. Long-term, because what are you buying when you're buying the fight token? Is you're buying in on the rewards model. I don't have too many pages open for that, but you're basically buying on the rewards model. So in short, whatever gets sold, there's burns, there's buybacks, all that stuff, the way that they work it. And indirectly, the valuation of the token should go up for that reason. Okay, great. But now the big question that I'm asking myself right now, and this is the hard one, is this a fair valuation? So I went through to Grok and I asked basically Grok, how would you go about evaluating this? Because if you look at Fight right now, it's not even sold anything yet. It's just the projection of what is going to happen when we do go live. And it's already got a market cap of 48 million, according to the circulating supply and amount of coins that's available. Is that fair? And that's a fair question I think we need to ask ourselves. So Grok basically explained to me how he would go about, or it will go about evaluating the market. And then I asked it a few questions, and the basis is we were looking at the Nikes, Starbucks, we were looking at all the various adoption metrics to try and figure out where it's at. And its assumption is that it says it's a fair valuation and it is reasonable or undervalued at launch, but it's based on if adoption hits 5 to 10%. And that's a tricky one. So statistically, that's where we kind of aiming at. Now, I don't know when, realistically, or fairness, this is really going to launch and when the momentum is really going to be the driving utility behind the price. But for now, my personal opinion is that it's not a fair valuation. And this is what I use for that. I just use technical analysis. But, this is now long term. Let's quickly load the coin. We've just launched. Great. This is where we're at. Long term, what I'm suggesting, what I'm thinking is this. It's going to go and look at lows. It's going to find some sort of a base before the real investment kicks in. And that's what you want to wait for. Short term, however, this is where things get interesting. If you look at Fight short term, it's now launched. Well, it's going to launch. There's now marketing and hype behind it. They're going to be promoting it. The short term is going to get more people trapped in on this. And there could be a rally. And that's the rally that I'm looking at from a trader point of view. Okay. Now, I've shown you Chili's charts now. You know, it's going to pump, it's going to dump. It's not a steady as she goes kind of investment, because hype and drive behind it is going to be the reason for the fuel. And there's no guarantees, because we need to have at least 5 to 10% adoption for the market valuation where it is right now to even make sense. And only time will tell whether that's going to truly happen. So short term, what do we have? We have launch. We've got a triangle. It's trying to figure out what it wants to do. You can argue that this area around here at around 224, let's just say 24.2, is resistance. And if we can get a 4-hour to open and close above this level, this will go into price discovery to the upside, which will drive and fuel new hype to buy the token. Long term, I'm saying, from a utilitarian point of view, the case is proven that it's going to do well, as the revenue on the USC and the marketing that they've done is proven to be really well. But long term, I'm expecting first the hype needs to die down, because the valuation at this stage still is based on what it will be, not what it is at this stage. Okay, think of it like this. Best way that I can say it. I have a little car wash. There's the door, there's the roller, and the roller, and the roller. There's my car wash. And I live in a little town, and the town has maybe got 500 people in there, and each one of them has got one vehicle, and I am the only guy that's allowed to wash their cars as per the city governance, ordinance, or rules. Now, somewhere along the line, the developer goes and buys up all the land around the town, and he's looking to add another 10,000 houses. What will that do to the valuation of my car wash if my car wash price currently is traded public? Well, let's say I make $1 per car. That's $500. Let's just say, and now let's just give it a valuation of $1 per share based on this. Now, some smart KOL radio influencer goes and tells you, this is a great investment. Invest in this car wash. You're going to get rich because this is what's going to happen. Great. Now you go and buy at the current rate. And because this cannot factor in that at this moment, because it's not washing those cars. Those cars isn't there. Any upside that you're seeing now is going to be an overvaluation, and it won't be sustained. At some stage, it's going to dump down back to a fair valuation and an accumulation of shares from somebody that understands this business model and understands that this is going to happen. Great. I need to get this at a great rate so that when it does happen over a period of time, as these houses are getting built, more people move in, the car wash needs to expand and get bigger. The revenue then will go up, and then long-term, the investment will be good. So what we just shouldn't do is fall victim to KOL marketing right now. YouTube influencers. Somebody that tells you it's a great investment because of clearly the fundamental points to that. Yes, it is. But you cannot use that. That's how you're going to get yourself burned. You need to understand that this is the case with a lot of the AI projects that everybody's punting to people. This is the case with a lot of layer ones that just launched. So they're telling you what they're going to do. And you're buying on that assumption, but you're not buying on what they're doing right now. And that's why the alts pump like crazy and dump like crazy, and they die down. And I'm expecting the exact same thing for Fight. Then to close it off, long-term utility. If you think about it, if you think about the engine that drives the UFC, great. Short-term, though, pump and dump. wait for the long accumulation, and then you might have a slice in the pie. Because what is proven with any of these things, if you get in early at the right price, your long-term benefits awaits. And then you can refer back to Chili's each time if you're unsure about that, because it's probably going to follow the playbook. Chili's is basically going to give you an easy cheat sheet of what is going to be expected. I'm going to go back to Chili's on the weekly time frame. And I'm going to do this, just take away the RSI, and I'll just clean my brush strokes. Fight is here somewhere. How bullish the market is unknown, and how great the marketing campaign will be is unknown. But it's doing this. It's trying to build a base. And whoever thought of the idea is going to protect the price, because they don't want to see massive dumps right now. That's why short-term I'm bullish on fight. I want to see this happen. I want to see that breakout. That's going to be really good. Long-term, however, I am waiting for this kind of dump, the maturity of the rewards program, because that's all that it is. It's a rewards program. If you buy their merch, buy their tickets, anticipate in all their marketing campaigns, we will reward you. That's all that it is. Some of our profit will go back to you. That's what it is. Until that then matures and we build a fair, safe price, we won't really know what the true valuation is of that, because we don't know what the adoption is. So if it makes sense, let me know, give me a comment. And yeah, if you want to have a look at a few more projects, you know what to do. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, and stay tuned. Now, just a quick reminder, guys, ByBit is today's channel sponsor. Videos brought to you by ByBit. You can open your account. I just posted a comment there as well with a link for you guys if you want to support the content. And in doing so, if you open your ByBit account, I'll give you 1 week free access to my Buddy Pro indicator. If you want to gain access to the indicator, otherwise you can go and join my private group. The indicator is included in that monthly price. What does the indicator do? Simple. It analyzes the market from a multi-time frame perspective. So I'm going to switch it on. And it gives you a clear, simple, clean guide on what everything is pointing to. And that guide then visually overrides the candle body colors. So if you think of it like this, at this stage, we were going through accumulation, nothing bullish. When it starts turning blue, you start thinking about getting your bags loaded. And you remain blue for as long as the momentum reigns true. The same then happens on any other time frame as well. And where we're at right now with Chili's, we're sitting in a situation where it's turning blue. The momentum is turning blue. We're not full on hold swing longs yet. It's been hold swing shorts since the breakdown. The highs clearly indicate areas where the corrections occur, meaning think of it like this. If this was an Elliott wave correction, let's do this. And A, B, C, C being 5 waves to the downside. One would argue that 1 correction, 2 correction, there's no lower low, 3 correction. Okay. And every time where you have the little blue on the correction, that's where you'll have your divergences and so forth that you can act on. Okay. High, there's the pivot, higher high, hidden bearish divergence. High, there's the pivot. Didn't quite give it to us there. Well, there it is. There's the lower high. There's the pivot, hidden bearish divergence. So it is a really good tool to help you navigate and get through the emotions, because we tend to, and this is what all traders do, sell too soon and hold too long if it goes against us. This does the opposite and guides you through that. And because it's a multi-time frame tool, you can easily set up your tools and see that. Weekly, we're not ready yet. Daily, this is setting up. 4 hours, really good. So the 1 hour is supporting that. And once we've reclaimed support at 5.7, the 1 hour would be bullish as well in comparison, which means that this will probably then lead to a continuation of momentum. There you have it. And if we do the same analysis for fight right now, we're going to have to just go into a smaller time frame, because we don't have weekly and monthly data for fight at this stage. Just going to clean up this and bring the chart back for you guys. Clearly says that we're going through that same kind of accumulation. And once this turns blue, we will probably have our breakout, our big move. That's the hope that we want to wait for. And then when that happens, the 1 hour and all the other supporting charts will then be sitting in place with that. So that's the play that I'm trying to look for. This thing needs to remain blue. Then I'll have confluence between the 4 hour and the 1 hour. Let me just turn that around. Hopefully that shuts this phone down. Okay. And then once that happens, I can then look at the lower time frame to long this. Now, in anticipation to this, I've already started building shorts, longs, on Bitmart. At the moment, I'm $2.96 in drawdown on my long, which means my first average buying price to get in on this for a long-term long is sitting around this range here where we're at right now, as I'm building a position for that breakout. So I'm sitting right roughly around this area. And then the play is you can also go and follow the copy trade accounts. All the details will be in the Discord, and see how I try and trade this and in anticipation for the breakout. That's it. That's everything for today, guys. It's if there's any other questions, you know what to do. Drop them in the comments or head over to the Discord. You're more than welcome to come and say hi there as well. All the information will be in the navigation channel. So the first channel at the top of the Discord, where you can find out all the information. If you want to claim your role and claim your access, all you need to do is click on the Get Discord Roles, claim your ByBit role there. It will open a one-on-one chat with your name in there. So it's just between me and you. You click on your name, and then you send me your user ID. And if it all verifies, I will connect you with the indicator as such. There you have it, guys. Thanks so much for taking the time. If there's any other questions or anything else you want to look at, you know where to go and find me in the Discord. Stop losses and these kind of things, my friend, that's for the paid guys. That's why there's a private group. So if you want to, Stanku, head over there. I would love to have you in the group, and then we can talk a little bit more and finer details. Have a lovely day, guys. I'll be back tomorrow with a little bit more crypto content. The real world asset narrative is still really strong. There's a lot of plays that I still want to share with you guys, as there's still a lot of money that's going to be on-ramped as well. I believe 2026 will probably be the year for the alts, not going to be the year for Bitcoin. And Bitcoin being range bound where it's at right now is a blessing in disguise, because it's going to give some of these alts the chance to shine, give them a little sunlight, because up till now Bitcoin has been stealing everybody's thunder, So there you have it. Cheers, everybody.